So we will start our lecture this afternoon, no, so that we can cover all the remaining topics that we need to discuss. Actually, I have reviewed the course syllabus, and it would seem that I only have to discuss lesson 13, lesson 15, 16, 17. Okay, so and 19. But these are very short lecture discussions na lang. So I think we can cover it in 2 hours. Okay? But let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There are only 17 of you who are present this afternoon, and I have around 67 students. So it would seem that there are 50 or 50, more than 50 who have failed to attend this lecture this afternoon for one reason or the other, whether it's valid or not. I still think that I need to record this lecture discussion so that I can upload the video. And for those students who failed to attend, especially those students who have lost their internet connection or their electricity this afternoon, so they still have the chance to listen to the lecture discussion. So what will happen is this: once I finish discussing per lesson, example, I finish lesson 13, then I need to cut briefly so that I can have the video recording stop and restart another for the next lesson. Okay, so that you will not be kind of confused why I need to stop from time to time. Okay, so with no further ado, let's proceed to our lesson this afternoon, which is the persons criminally liable for felonies. Okay, I'm sure that you are very familiar with the terminologies, because even in some legal drama, we can hear that this person is an accomplice, this person is an accessory to the crime, or these are the principal offender of a felony, So medyo I'm sure that you have a familiarity of, or at least you have heard of these terms, These terms are not alien to you. So let's discuss the following. First, principal, When as a background lang, when we say person criminally liable, in a crime or in a felony, there are especially if there are a number of persons involved in the consummation of the crime, each person may have different degree of participation, and based on their degree of participation, they will be classified as principal, and accomplice, and accessory. So it really pertains to how they involve themselves in the consummation of the crime. So basically, the individual who really committed the crime, the person who executed the crime, is what we call principal by direct participation. Okay, there are 3 forms of principal. Number 1 is principal by direct participation. Second, principal by inducement, and third is principal by by indispensable cooperation. Okay, so let's discuss first principal by direct participation. By the word direct participation, you already know the nature of the participation or the degree of participation of this person. So when we say principal by direct participation, this person is the one who personally executed the crime. For example, in the crime of murder, the person or the person classified as principal by direct participation is the one who killed the person. May he stab the other person, may he fire a gun or whatever means used to kill or to consummate the crime of murder. So the person who executed the murder is the person called principal by direct participation. So based on your what do you call this, modules, there are three elements. Number one is that the person must be liable. Those who are liable materially execute the crime. So muna to, I already explained it. Then appear at the sign of the scene of the crime, appears at the scene of the crime. So how can you execute a crime, no? How can you be in direct participation if you are not present in the crime, in the scene of the crime? So when you say scene of the crime, the place where the crime was committed. When the robbery is committed, it is in the house, no, of the person who was robbed. If the person was murdered, in the place, the scene of the crime pertains to the place where the murder took place. Then perform acts necessary in the commission of the offense. So basically, the elements that I have enumerated, I already explained it thoroughly. So based on the examples that I've made. Now, when we say principal by direct inducement, what do you mean inducement? No? Inducement is tantamount to an irresistible force or a how do you say it in vernacular? Inducement. In Bisaya, it means nagpugos, no? Or in Tagalog, the one who is okay. Another term na lang, okay, so that we can understand it perfectly, because there are some students. I also am teaching students from Luzon, no, so that I cannot speak in vernacular. So, principal by inducement, this is what we commonly called as the mastermind, no? The person who orchestrated, the person who planned, the person who forced the person to execute the crime, the person who is behind the scene, no? If you remember, principal by direct participation, the principal must be present in the crime scene. If you are, however, on the other hand, if you are classified as principal by inducement, you don't need to be present in the crime scene, because you can be in the other place, but because of your pruding, because of your what do you call this? Because of your coercion because you coerce someone to do your bidding, no? To do your bidding, to follow your command, to kill, to rob, or to commit any other kind of crime, then you are considered a principal by inducement. So you just need to understand that principal by inducement is like a mastermind, no? He is the one who forced somebody to commit the crime. He may not be present in the crime scene, but because of his coercion, because of his compelling force, no, forcing someone to commit the crime, then the crime was consummated. So that is principal by inducement. Then the last kind of principal, no, is the principal by indispensable cooperation. What do you mean by indispensable cooperation? Indispensable means this means without which one cannot do something, no? For example, I can remember my law school teacher in criminal law 1, no? The example here is this. Someone, no, wants to kill, or person A wants to kill person B. And person B is located in a remote island, no, in a very remote island. And only person C, no, only person C knows the location of person B. Okay? So, without person C's cooperation, without person C's guidance, person A cannot reach person B because, as I said, the place where person B is located is very remote. So, in this scenario, no, if B was able to kill, if A was able to kill B because C, no, the only person knows where person B was located, no, where the person B was located, then guide person A to person B, and then person A kill person B, then person C is considered principal by indispensable cooperation. Okay? Because without C, no, without the cooperation and help of C, A cannot kill B. Okay? I hope that is clear. I don't think you have read Harry Potter, no. It could have been a very nice analogy, no. It would have been a very nice analogy, but I will not discuss it na lang because it would be futile exercise if I discuss something that you have not read. Okay. Anyhow, I hope you see the picture, no, of the participation of the principal by indispensable cooperation. Without this person, the crime cannot be committed. Okay? So, another example is... Another example is that I cannot think of any other example because class, if the person only assisted, no, if the person only assisted and facilitated the consummation of the crime, then the person is not considered as principal by indispensable cooperation, but merely as an accomplice. Like, for example, no, if you are the person, no, for example, person A wants to kill person B, then person C, no, the owner of this drugstore, no, gave person A a poison, no, and that poison was used by person A to kill person B. Now, the question is person C considered principal by indispensable cooperation? Yes or no? The answer is no. Because although through the help of person C, person A was able to acquire a poison, no? Was able to acquire a poison to kill person B, the source of the poison, or C is not the only person, no? C is not the only person that can be the source of a poison, no? So, although the poison given by person C to person A was was used to help person, was able to be used for person A to kill person B, it does not mean that without which person A cannot kill person B, no? Unlike on my first example, no, na it was only person C who has the exclusive knowledge of the location of person B, no? So, without the help of person C, then person A cannot find person B. So, in that case, person C was classified as principal by indispensable cooperation. But if only the help of C was only to facilitate, hasten, or make the killing of person B easier, then he is not considered as an principal by indispensable cooperation, but merely as an accomplice. Okay, that is a good question that I might ask in the final exam. Okay? In criminal law, we have what we call doctrine of pro Rio. Pro Rio doctrine. This means that if the circumstance, no, if the circumstance is can be construed or can be, what another term, can be interpreted in two ways, no? The lesser or the interpretation that is more favorable to the criminal should be applied. Like for example, if you are not sure if the person is to be considered as principal by indispensable cooperation or as an accomplice, because the interpretation could be either he can be a principal by indispensable cooperation or that he could be an accomplice, then under the pro-Rio Doctrine, the person should be classified as accomplice because an accomplice has a lower penalty than a principal, no? We will discuss later on the penalties, but we should know that principal has the highest penalty, no? Then the accomplice is 1 degree lower, and then the accessory is 2 degrees lower than that of a principal. Okay? Any question concerning principal? The 3 form of principal. Yes, Mr. Go, do you have any question? Mr. Go, do you have any question? Do you have any other questions? If none, we will proceed to an accomplice. Okay? Mr. Go, do you have any question or wala? No questions? Mr. Go left. So, okay. Now, we proceed to the second person considered liable in a felony. No? So, the second one is an accomplice. What are the requisites for a person to be considered as a accomplice to the crime? Number 1 is that there must be a community of design, meaning that is that the person to be considered as an accomplice, he or she must know of the criminal design, or that she knows, or he or she knows that this person is about to commit a crime and he or she concurred to this crime, meaning he has or she has a knowledge about the plan, about the execution, and he or she is amenable, or she did not he or she concurs or allow it to happen. Now, the second element is that he cooperates in the execution of the offense by previous or simultaneous act with the intention of supplying material or moral aid in the execution of the crime. So, okay, in this case, no, a person is considered to be an accomplice if his mere participation is only limited to the following. Number 1, supplying the material. Number 2, moral aid to the execution. Okay, let's go back to our what do you call that? To our example, no? A wants to kill B. C, the owner of the pharmacy, gave A, no, a poisonous drug, and that poisonous drug was used by A to kill B. Okay? C gave the poison to A with the full knowledge, okay? With the full knowledge that A intends to kill B. Okay? That's very clear. So, applying the requisites, no, number 1 is that there is a community of design, or that the person or the accomplice must have a knowledge about the criminal intent of the person. So, in the scenario, check, no? Because C knows that A was planning to kill B. Then, number 2, that his participation is limited to supplying of the material or moral aid. Diba? Si C gave the poison to A. So, he supplied the material, or the material that was used in the was used in the consummation of the crime. So, and then the third element is that there be a relation between the acts done by the principal and those attributed to the person charged as accomplice. Meaning, if A did not use, if A did not use the poison given by C, then C cannot be considered as an accomplice because the act of C of giving A the poison, did not result to the killing of B. Like for example, A plans to kill B. Then C, with the knowledge that A plans to kill B, C gave a poison to A, But A did not use the poison. Instead of using the poison, A used his gun to kill B. Now, C, even though he has the knowledge and supplied the material needed for the killing of B, but in the last minute, C did not use the poison, then C cannot be considered as an accomplice for the mere purpose that the action of C, the intended person to be accomplice, is not related to the killing of the victim. So those three requisites should be present if one is to be considered as an accomplice. Okay, so that is very easy. You just need to remember knowledge of the crime. Second, that the participation of the accomplice is limited only to the supplying of materials and moral aid. What do you mean by moral aid? A intends to kill B, then you or C accompanied A, accompanied A in the killing of B. And because of the presence of B, A was able to execute the crime, He was able to kill B because of the mere presence of C. Then the presence of C is considered as moral support or moral aid, But if B or C participated in actually help A in the killing of B, then C is also considered as principal by direct participation because he was able to execute acts directly related to the killing of B. But if he was just there to be present, to give moral support and aid to A, then he is only considered as an accomplice. Okay? Accessories, very easy. Accessory are those people who help after the fact, meaning after the crime was consummated, these people entered into the scene for the purpose of profiting something out of the crime. So like for example, in the case of robbery, they were the ones who helped they were the ones to help the robber in selling the goods that they have robbed. That they are considered accessories. And then for example, they also only help in the escape. If they only help in the escape plan of in the escaping of the principal in the crime scene, they did not know of they did not provide any support, moral aid. They did not directly participate in the killing, but they merely provide a exit transport vehicle, then they are considered as an accessories. What is more important in accessories is that they are only they cannot be punished if the felony committed is only considered light. We already have a discussion what are the grave, less grave, and the light felony. So again, I don't want you. I think I was able to give it during the midterm, the pre P1 exam, the 6 light felonies in the revised penal code, no? If the person is considered as an accessory to the six enumerated, like the theft, slight slander by deed, slight physical injuries, no? The unsa pa to? Katong alteration of the boundary marks, those crimes, the six crimes considered as light felonies, if they are considered as an accessory to that crime, then they are not criminally liable because the crime is very light, no? Very light. And then if we're going to lower down 2 degrees the penalty, then it would amount to 0 prison time. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to remember, that accessories are not liable in cases of light felonies. There are also times, no, that accessories are not considered criminally liable if they are related to the principal as spouse, meaning of the spouse, husband and wife, B, ascendant or descendant, parents, grandparents, children, grandchildren, brother or sister, legitimate brothers or sister, or natural or adopted, no? So if in the case, like for example, I don't know if you heard about this case, this person killed, no, someone, no, and the mother, no, helped her son escape, and she hides her son in their basement. So if that person, no, the mother is not considered as an accessory because she is considered as the direct ascendant of the criminal, no, of the person who killed. But if a person helps someone not related as a spouse, ascendant, descendants, or a brother or sister, legitimate, illegitimate, or adopted, no, then that person who hid the criminal or helped in the escaping of that criminal from the crime scene, he is considered an accomplice. Okay? Is that clear? I hope it's clear. Okay? These are the things that I think would come out in the board exam. Maybe in a multiple choice question, A is the mother of B. B killed C. A helped B escape. A helped B escape the crime scene. Is A considered as accomplice? Yes, but she is not criminally liable. Okay? Not accomplice, accessory. I want to be clear, ha. The mother is still considered as an accessory but not criminally liable. So wrong if you will say, no, she is not an accessory because she is the mother of B. She is still considered as an accessory but not criminally liable. Okay? Exception to the exception, no? Diba? Exception is that if you are the spouse, ascendant, descendant, brother or sister of the criminal, no, you help this criminal or you act as an accessory to the crime, you are not liable. Okay? Clear na? If you are the spouse, ascendant, descendant, brother, legitimate, illegitimate, or adopted brothers or sister, you are not criminally liable if you act as an accomplice to the crime. However, even if you are considered as the spouse, ascendant, descendants, brother or sister, you can still be liable as an accessory if you have profited, no, from the crime. Okay? For example, A and B are brothers and sisters, are siblings. Okay? A and B are siblings. B robs the house of C. Okay? Then B sold the items he robbed from the house of C, and the money he used, okay? And the money out from the sale of those items, no, he robbed from C, was given to A, no, and A, with the full knowledge that that money was given to him by B, is a is a result of selling items he robbed from C. So even if they are considered siblings, no, and normally A should not be held criminally liable as an accessory, but since he or she profited from the acts of his or her sibling, then he can still be punished as an accessory because the accessory profited from the effects or proceeds of the crime. Okay? Okay. So that's module 13 or lesson 13. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions so that we can proceed to another item? There are no questions. Okay, so I need to stop this recording.